Hi guys, I'm here, I'm back. It's been, the festive period has been and gone, so obviously I didn't make a video because those were my days off, seeing friends and family and all that. And I'm going to do my year in reading. I'm going to do it slightly different to the way I've done it in the years previously, even though I didn't actually do one last year because my New Year's was just crazy. I somehow didn't get round to it. I can't even really remember why. Anyways, yeah, so I've changed the way I'm doing it. I'm not going to show you every single book I've read this year because I read 63 books this year. That's a lot of books. That's a long video. So I'm not going to do that. I read 23,877 pages, which is incredible. This has definitely been my best reading year ever, I think, ever. I read 10 volumes of manga, which were a mixture of Arata the Legend and Rurouni Kenshin. I'm like slowly making my way through the two. And my average rating was 4.1 stars. Like, I've had such a good year in reading. I've enjoyed so much. There has been a few flops and you'll find out about them soon. But yeah, like, I've done so well. My challenge was 35 books. And I hit that like halfway through the year. So I changed it to 50 books and I still beat that. So I've had a really good year. There's been so much like amazing things that have been coming out recently, and I'm just so glad that I've been able to get so many great books. I'm going to show you my top 3 reads for the year and my bottom 3 reads for the year. But that's all I'm going to show, and I'll show you what I'm currently reading because that's probably going to be my first book of next year. But I can't show 63 books. This video would be way too long. So yeah, what was my top 3 reads of the year? So in third place, I have ranked them. I'm going with the last 2 books in the Birthright trilogy by Gabrielle Zevin. The first one is called All These Things I've Done. So you've probably heard of that one because that one got like circulated around a bit on the booktube scene a few years ago. But I actually finished the series, whereas I don't think any of the other booktubers really have. I don't think I've seen anyone pick these books up. So it's Because It Is My Blood and In the Age of Love and Chocolate. I just really loved this series. Like, I just loved watching Anya grow into such a beautiful, independent woman. Like, yeah, it really just was a strong read, and she's such a strong character. And if you like stories where the lead character doesn't need no man, I hope that's not a spoiler, but yeah, whatever, read this series. There is romance in there, but you'll understand as you read it that like Anya's gonna do what Anya's gonna do. And I really appreciate her as a character, and I really enjoyed the writing style. I read these so quickly, so thank you, Gabrielle Zevin, for writing that trilogy. In second place, this is probably a lot of people's first place book. I'm putting it in second. I loved it. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm sure pretty much everyone is. And that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. I absolutely loved this. I just flew through it. To say it's quite a chunky book, I read it really quickly. Yes, reasoned. Yes. Like, he is one of the best male characters I have read about in a while, apart from one from the next series that I'm going to be telling you about. But I love him, and I'm so glad that we got to read from the Night Court. Like, we got to find out what goes on there, and we even got to see a little bit of some other courts, which is amazing. I love fairy like stories. My Wicked Lovely obsession started that off. I keep saying I'm going to reread that. It will happen eventually, maybe next year, you never know. Anyway, yeah, where was I going with this? So this is the second book after A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I really enjoyed as well. I gave that 5 stars. But this one, like, that made me realise that that book it is 5 stars. Obviously, I'm not going to change my rating. But compared to this, that book is like 3 stars. Like, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Got a bit 50 Shades of Fair, like, you probably know if you've read it, and you've probably heard about it if you haven't read it. So I wouldn't really say that this was young adult. Like, I feel like that's a bit of a push because it does get a bit, you know, raunchy, it gets a bit steamy. And yes, I wouldn't recommend it for the younger readers. I'd probably say you need to be like 16 to read this. That's just me. You know, I'm sure I'm not going to stop anyone, but I just don't, I feel a bit uncomfortable with the fact that this is recommended for like teen readers when there's, some of the teen readers should not be reading this. But I loved it, including all the like, because I'm not really like a sex reader, I guess. Like, one of the reasons why I didn't like reading the Sookie Stackhouse novels is the way that the sex was written in there. It just made me feel really awkward. Maybe it's just that I don't like how Charlene Harris writes sex, but it was just like, I was cringing reading it, like, oh god, really? This, no. Maybe it's just that Sookie Stackhouse is such an awkward character that it doesn't matter how she's portrayed, I hate her. Yeah, anyways, I keep going off on tangents. This book, it's great. If you read the first one, and even if you didn't really like the first one, read this one because it'll change your opinions. You'll love it. Read it. Next is my top pick of the year, and I picked an entire series. You probably know if you follow me on like Goodreads or if you've seen in my other book related videos from this year that I am obsessed with this series. It made my year. Like, I love it so much, and I fall in love with one of the characters in the story. It's quite an unlikely pick from what I've heard from a lot of people. They like someone else completely, which I'll go into. But yeah, it is, of course, oh, I'm dropping them, the Lunar Chronicles. I love it. I just love it. So, of course, we have Cinder, we have Scarlet, we have Cress, and we have Winter. And Winter, look how beaten up my copies are. It's because I took them to work and my like broken down handbag. Like, I read Winter so quickly. I just said that about the Cotton Mist and Fury. Winter just knocks it out of the park. Like, I read this. It took me like no time. Like, my boyfriend was like, didn't you just start reading Winter? And I was like, yeah, I finished it. I just loved the series. I just completely inhaled it. Yes, and I got Stars Above for my birthday and I haven't got around to reading it yet, and it's all I'm thinking about, and yeah, I need to get to that, I really do. Yeah, so, who is it that I love from the Lunar Chronicles, you may ask? That is Prince Kai. I love him. We already know I like me some royal men. I'm aiming high. I just love him. He is probably my new fictional husband. Sorry, Maxon, you've been pushed aside. Prince Kai's doing it now. You know, that are reasoned actually. They're like my two favourite men now. I loved Cinder. That was my favourite book of the series. A lot of people like Cress best, and they say that they're like Fawn best out of the men in the series, and that they're like, you know, Cress and Fawn's relationship. I love Cinder and Kai's relationship. I just love them. This first book was my favourite, I'm not gonna lie, even though I rated all of them 5 out of 5 stars, because I just loved everything. I loved every character, and there was no like perspective where I was like, oh, do I have to read this one? Like, there was none of that. There was no like dull moments for me. And then a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people aren't particularly that fond of Winter, and that she's a bit like the most boring character or something, but I enjoyed her. I just love it. Thank you, Marissa Meyer. And so I should probably say thank you, Sarah James, for the last one. But like, oh, yes, this is my new obsession, and I can't wait for Heartless to come out in paperback in the UK, because we're not getting it for ages, and it doesn't even look like the beautiful copy that you Americans get. I hate the fact that the covers aren't the same in the UK and the US. Just do the one nice cover for everyone, please. And I hate the fact that I have to wait so much longer than everyone else just to read it. Just, you know, these little things just upset me. Anyways, yes, so they were my favourite reads of the year. I should have probably said that the Lunar Chronicles are a sci-fi fairy tale retelling series, kind of fantasy, kind of dystopian. It's got a bit of everything for everyone in there, but I'm sure you already know what they are. I'm sure you already know what, you know, the last 2 books at least that I showed off on my list are. because, you know, they were quite obvious picks. Right, so let's get into my worst reads, and I'm gonna do them. My like 2 and 3 are kind of like equal billing, and I read them quite close to each other, and I feel like maybe I just forced myself through a slump reading them or something. But hey, yeah, so I'm just going to talk about this one first, which is probably one of the more controversial picks. In fact, this will be the most controversial pick that I've put in my bottom 3, and that was Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I wanted to like this so much. I've heard so many good things. People like saying it's one of the best fantasy books, and that it gets you like into reading. But I just didn't get along with it. Like, I'd read like full chapters and I wouldn't remember them, and like I'd read character names and I'd be like, who? And then I'd realise that I'd read about them like 2 pages ago. I just couldn't, I don't know what it was, I just couldn't keep the information of this book in my head, and we just really didn't get along. I didn't rate it a 1, I rated it a 2 because I didn't hate it. Like, this isn't like Torment levels of reading, and by that I mean Lauren Kate's Torment, even though, you know, that was a torment. This was just, I don't know, I can't explain, I just couldn't hold the information, and I got so lost, and it's not that big of a book. We didn't get along. I'm really sorry, Uprooted. I wanted to love you, but I didn't. That upsets me because it's such a high rated book. This is the story of a girl who goes to live with a wizard. I don't know if I need to give you any more or any less. I don't have much more to give, I don't think. Things happen because she goes with a wizard. Yeah, maybe, you know, maybe I can retry that one day. But the exact same, not the exact same actually, I remember a lot more from this one happened with this book as well. Like, I kind of got a bit lost, and I kind of like, I must have just been in a slump or something when I read these. I'm going to see if I read these straight after each other. They were definitely very close. Anyways, but yeah. And that is the 12 Kings by Bradley Bolio, I want to say. I probably did the same thing when I held it. The like premise of this story should have worked, and like I remember elements about the book that I liked, but it just, I don't know, again, we just didn't get along. Like, I don't think it's a bad story, I just don't, maybe it's the writing, maybe just me and the writing just weren't meant to be. But this is the story of a girl called Chada, I think she's called. Oh god, I didn't even remember the last one. It's like, no wonder I didn't remember it. It's Agagniska, I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyways, yeah, going back to this. This is the story, and she is like an assassin. It's kind of like Throne of Glass set in Arabian Nights. That's the best way I can say it. She's like an assassin character. She's like a gladiator. You know, when they put people to fight in like pits against each other. She does that. She's pretty good at it. And her best friend slash lover, they sleep together, ends up getting involved in like some crazy conspiracy, and then she ends up like going in there to investigate and see what the hell's going on, and chaos ensues from there. Like, it's very Throne of Glass meets Arabian Nights. The more I think about it, it is. So I should have loved it because, you know, I love the Throne of Glass series, and, well, of what I've read of it so far, and I love Aladdin. I guess that's my only like Arabian Nights thing I know about, but I just couldn't read it. I don't know. I'm sorry. Again, maybe one day I'll try, because I wanted to like it so badly. Like, I entered to win it and I got so excited about it, and then when I found it on offer in Waterstones, I picked it straight up, but I don't know. And the last one, I do believe is bad. Like, this is one that I can't even be like, I'm not sure what it was. This is one that annoyed me, and the only reason I didn't give it a 1 is because there was a couple of redeeming moments in it, but it just angered me. Like, I was sat in bed next to my boyfriend like raging at this book, and he's like, what on earth are you reading? And I'm like, I don't even know anymore because I'm so upset by it. And that is Off the Page by Jodie Picoult and Samantha Van Leer. I read Between the Lines and then jumped straight into this. I liked Between the Lines a lot, I gave it 4 stars I want to say. I really enjoyed it. This just was ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. I don't want to spoil what happens in Between the Lines, but because I like that one. But the thing that resolves Between the Lines happens a million more times in this book. And I was just like, why? Why am I reading this? Why is all this stupid crap happening? Like, it worked for that one-off thing, and it worked in that one, like, scenario, and then it was, they just kind of was like, oh, well, people liked that first one, so let's just repeat it 50 times in, like, the space of 400 pages. Not even 400 pages. And I just lost interest. And the dramas, like the high school dramas, like, I think I am getting too old for this. I am an old lady now. And it's been quite a while since I was in school. So yeah, it just wasn't for me, but it just felt bad. Like, I can't even just be like, oh well, I just didn't get along with it, and I'm not sure if it was just quite my kind of book. This was just awful. I just hated it, and maybe I should give it a 1, because now that I'm talking about it, I'm more angry about the fact that I've read this. I think I was just being nice. The reason why I gave it 2 stars because they did a pretty brave move. I don't want to spoil things, because you might like this book and you might be planning to read it, but they do quite a brave move at one point in this book, and I think the 2 stars is literally based on that. So yeah, I didn't like it so much. Sorry, I really wanted to, because I enjoyed the first one. So yeah, that was my year in reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you, you know, agree or disagree with my opinions and you want to talk about it in a nice civilised manner. That's great. The book I am currently reading, which will be my first read of next year because I don't think I'm going to finish it in the next couple of days. It's kind of a slower read for me, but it's a slower, enjoyable read for me. And that is The Invasion of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. I am very excited about this trilogy. I loved the first book. It took me a little bit of time to read, but once I read it I was like, wow. So I'm hoping the same for this. I am very much enjoying the new additional character in this, the new like perspective character. I don't want to spoil things, but I'm enjoying that element. I'm enjoying finding out about more things in the world that Erica Johansson has created. And so yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm on like page 217 I am on, and so it's been so far so good. So yeah, hopefully that'll be a nice 5-star start to my next year in 2017. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know what you read over the year, you know, maybe we've got a few similar choices. Thank you for watching. Bye!